Jai Jagadish Hare Kara Kamala Hare Nakam Adbhuta Shingha Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Narsingadev, Jaya Narsingadev, Jaya Narsingadev, Jaya Narsingadev. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Narsingadev Bhagwan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari 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 Bol.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna. So thank you, everyone, for coming to Bhaktivedanta Manor on this very nice Sunday afternoon. There's lots to do here at Bhaktivedanta Manor. Darshan is still here, and there's currently being some prasadam being served in the Haveli. So if you haven't got some, we encourage everyone to get some prasadam. There's food for the body, but no doubt there is also food for the soul right here in the temple room. And we'll be having a Bhagavad Gita class just now, given by Her Grace Praneswari Mataji. So just give us a few moments to set up just over here by the door. So if I could kindly ask all the pilgrims to make some space around there. And for those attending the class, please can everyone face towards the door, this way where the speaker will be seated. So once again, thank you very much for coming, and we hope to see you again very soon. Hare Krishna. Okay, can someone help? Sorry, Hare Krishna. Sorry. Good luck.
Thank you, Babu. You're really good. Your finger's really good in the fast, like kind of sharp as well. I can't do that. I can do it.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna. Try to speak in the mic. Thank you so much for staying. We'll just start with prayers to Krishna so that whatever I say is hopefully helpful to everyone. So if you are seated, please close your eyes if you can. And if you know the words, please kindly repeat after me. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Gokulananda Radha Gokulananda Shri Radhe. Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman Jaya Sita Ram Lakshman Hanuman. Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. So, just before I start the class, I'm usually on that side of the mic. So really seeking all of your blessings. You all, seem that you all have more life experience and know much more about these topics than I do. But just in the mood of spirit, in the spirit of service, I would like to share something that hopefully helps all of us, especially myself. So the verse today is from the Bhagavad Gita, is from chapter 10, verse 11. So I'll just read the Sanskrit, English, and the purport given by His Grace Srila Prabhupada. So the verse goes, Tesham evanukampartam aham agnanajam tamaha nashyami atma bhavasto gnanadipena pashvatam. So what does that mean? Because I'm sure most of us don't probably understand Sanskrit. To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. And the explanation given by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada goes as: when Lord Chaitanya was in Benares promulgating the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, thousands of people were following him. Prakashananda Saraswati, a very influential and learned scholar in Benares at that time, derided Lord Chaitanya for being a sentimentalist. Sometimes the Mayavadi philosophers criticize the devotees because they think that most of the devotees are in the darkness of ignorance and are philosophically naive sentimentalists. Actually, that is not the fact. There are very, very learned scholars who have put forward the philosophy of devotion. But even if a devotee does not take advantage of their literatures or of his spiritual master, if he is sincere in his devotional service, he is helped by Krishna himself within his heart. So the sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. The only qualification is that one carry out devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. The Mayavadi philosophers think that without discriminating, one cannot have pure knowledge. For them, this answer is given by the Supreme Lord. Those who are engaged in pure devotional service, even though they may be without sufficient education and even without sufficient knowledge of the Vedic principles, are still helped by the Supreme God as stated in this verse. The Lord tells Arjuna that basically there's no possibility of understanding the supreme truth, the absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead simply by speculating, for the supreme truth is so great that it is not possible to understand him or to achieve him simply by making a mental effort. Man can go on speculating for several millions of years, and if he is not devoted, if he is not a lover of the Supreme Truth, he will never understand Krishna or the Supreme Truth. Only by devotional service is the Supreme Truth, Krishna, pleased, and by his inconceivable energy he can reveal himself to the heart of the pure devotee. The pure devotee always has Krishna within his heart, and with the presence of Krishna, who is just like the sun, the darkness of ignorance is at once dissipated. This is the special mercy rendered to the pure devotees by Krishna. Due to the contamination of material association, through many, many millions of births, one's heart is always covered with the dust of materialism, but when one engages in devotional service and constantly chants Hare Krishna, the dust quickly clears, and one is elevated to the platform of pure knowledge. The ultimate goal, Vishnu, can be attained only by this chant and by devotional service, and not by mental speculation or argument. The pure devotee does not have to worry about the material necessities of life. He need not be anxious, because when he removes the darkness from his heart, everything is provided automatically by the Supreme Lord, who is pleased by the loving devotional service of the devotee. This is the essence of the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. By studying Bhagavad Gita, one can become a soul completely surrendered to the Supreme Lord and engage himself in pure devotional service. As the Lord takes charge, one becomes completely free from all kinds of material endeavors. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. We'll just seek the blessings of our teachers. So, Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savatutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamsha Hare Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gorangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So thank you so much for staying and really seeking all your blessings, that I can say something that's, again, useful for all of us. But before I start, what is special about today? All the kids here? Yeah, I heard somebody. Yes, it's Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day today, so happy Mother's Day to all the mothers here. I think my mother's watching online, so happy Mother's Day to her too. And you know, they work so hard for us, they care for us, they love us so much, they nurture us. But one thing that's related to this verse is they give us knowledge. When we are born, we don't even know how to eat or do basic things that are required for our survival, and all the mothers are teaching us, and I can see there's one mother feeding her child. So thank you to all the mothers, and they are really the source of knowledge for our survival. So thank you. before we go to understanding this verse and what Srila Prabhupada was speaking about, we can perhaps think of the context of what is happening in the Bhagavad Gita at this point. So I'm sure we all know Bhagavad Gita was spoken on the battlefield. It was spoken as a dialogue between two personalities, Krishna and Arjun, yes. Krishna was the one answering the questions and Arjun was the one asking the questions. Now, in this book with 18 chapters, we can split it into 3 parts. So the first 6 chapters teach us about how to live in this world. So karma yoga, what activities we should do, how we should do it, what we can achieve by doing that. The last 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita teach us how to leave this world, so it gives us knowledge, the wisdom that's required. But the middle part, so chapter 10 falls in that, the middle part teaches us how to love God, how to love the people around us, and it's also the essence, like there's the essence of the Gita is within these 6 chapters. So I see a few kids here. So how many of us like stories? And maybe even some adults do, so I still do like stories. Yes. So every story we generally find there is a message, there is a moral, something that we can take away, maybe apply in our life, maybe learn from it. Similarly with the Bhagavad Gita, which is not just a mythological story, it's history, it's teaching us something. So the essence of the Bhagavad Gita is within the 4 verses. So in chapter 10, verses 8 to 11, give us the essence of the Bhagavad Gita. So out of the 700 verses of the Bhagavad Gita, if we read these 4 and really try to understand it, we can get the essence. We can understand what Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna is trying to tell us. So I'll just read the English translations. So verse 8 goes like this. I am the source of all material and spiritual worlds. Everything emanates from me. The wise who perfectly know this engage in my devotional service and worship me with all their hearts. So verse 8 teaches us about our relationship with Krishna. In Sanskrit, the term is known as sambandha, so that's our connection. That's our connection to Krishna. What our position is compared to Krishna as well, what is our relationship? So it's really trying to help us understand that. I'm not going so much into detail, we'll go into detail for verse 11. But if you have time, please do read these. So text 9, the thoughts of my pure devotees dwell in me. Their lives are fully devoted to my service, and they derive great satisfaction and bliss from always enlightening one another and conversing about me. So text 9 gives us the goal. So what we are trying to get, what is the ultimate goal? It tells us how to love God, what people who are in love with God do. If we have like a common person we love, and 2 people with that common interest meet, it's likely you'll talk about the person you love. You want to really know about what's going on in their life, what they like, what they don't like, and that's what pure devotees do. And just as a side note, today is also a memorial anniversary for one of the great devotees, His Grace Shruti Dharma Prabhu. So he was the ex-temple president. He left his body in 2020. So again, if we just think of a pure devotee or somebody who really inspired and drove this Bhaktivedanta manner was him. So when we are leaving or something, please just pray. We can't pray for him. He was such a devotee, but maybe ask for his blessings that we can do something in our spiritual life, just like he did. He was a spiritual warrior. So just speaking about great devotees, he's definitely one of them. But yes, that's what text 9. So Sanskrit term for that is prayojan. That's the goal. So that leaves us with text 10 and 11. So 10 says, to those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. And just again to read 11, to show them special mercy, I dwelling in their hearts, destroy with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So we learn what our relationship is in text 8. We learn what the goal is in text 9. What happens in between? How do we do that? What is the process? And that's discussed in text 10 and 11. If we want to learn about something, what do we do generally? Well, we read about it, we research, we go to somebody who might already know the topic. So if I want to learn about baking, I'm not going to go to somebody who's an expert knitter or something because they might not know. So similarly with spiritual knowledge, we also have to approach the books, but also people who might have this knowledge. So here we're going with the blessings of Srila Prabhupada, because he gave us wonderful purports. We can try and understand a little bit, unpack a little bit of what that abhideya, which is the Sanskrit term for the process, means. So what is verse 11 trying to teach us? So the verse says that to them I show special mercy. So who is them? What is this them? It can be any sincere person who is trying their best to reach the goal of loving God in this case. Then the next thing Krishna says in the verse is, I dwelling in their hearts. Now, for a lot of us, we may or we may not know what's going on in our hearts. But if we think about it, we can think of God in 3 ways. So if we use an analogy of a train approaching a station, 3 people might see it differently. So if I'm standing there, first I'll hear some noise, or on the tracks, or if it's like a steam engine, we might see some smoke. So that's one way to see it. That's like the effulgence of Krishna, and that's known as Brahman. But a step deeper than that is to know Krishna in your heart, which is known as Paramatma. So that's, if we go back to our train analogy, that is like the train approaching the station. You can see the carriages, but just everything from the outside. So you still don't know the full detail of what's happening. And that's why the third aspect, which is Bhagwan, which is a person, gives you the full details. In many scriptures, like Srimad Bhagavatam, we can see what he looks like exactly, what his activities are. So that's how Krishna is guiding us in all ways. But if we stick to Paramatma in our hearts, that's how he's dwelling in our heart and guiding us. Now, how is he guiding us? I don't know about you, but I can't hear somebody in my heart telling me, oh, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that. It's kind of difficult. Sometimes we may think of it as intuition, but it's Krishna. So he, again, as the verse says, destroys with the shining lamp of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. So that is how Krishna is guiding us. Who is scared of dark? I am. I'm too, don't worry. Why is it scary? Because we don't know what's going on. It's confusing. We can't see where we are. We don't know what we're doing. We might hurt ourselves. There might be some fear within us. So in order to really see, what do we need to do? What's the easiest way? What do you do when, yeah? You turn the lamp on, yeah? Yeah. Yeah, see, that we turn the light on, or you ask somebody else to do it for you. Even the smallest lamp or smallest light, if it's pitch dark, will be really helpful to just kind of orient ourselves. And that's the same. The spiritual knowledge is like that lamp, which helps us to remove all the ignorance or all the darkness that is within our hearts. And it's interesting if we look at the word destroys. So Krishna says, he destroys ignorance. Now, Krishna could have used the word remove, perhaps. Like if any of us is into gardening, you have to weed, right? Like you have to do weeding, otherwise there will be unwanted plants taking all the nutrients that the plants need. But and that we say removing the weed, because it does grow back for anyone who is into gardening. It grows back. But if we think about the word destroying, when something is destroyed, that means it's gone. So Krishna is destroying the darkness, is destroying the ignorance, because once we take shelter of the spiritual knowledge, the ignorance, the darkness is permanently gone. It's not just removed and they'll come back, it's gone. And that's just how merciful Krishna is. So that's how he works within our hearts. He's really our best friend, trying to help us to remove all these unwanted things within our heart. And I see some of us might be thinking, but I'm a good person. I do charity, I come to the temple on Sundays, I am, I'm helping others, I'm helping my family, so my heart is okay. My heart is not a bad place. But if we think deeply, if we really think deeply, we'll see. So if we are working and if somebody else gets a promotion, we'll be like, oh, well, I did the same work. What happened? So there might be some envy within us. It's a natural thing. If we are at school, if somebody does better than us, they get better grades, even though we worked hard, we might feel a bit sad, or maybe even a bit jealous of like, what happened? Or if we do really well on the positive side, we might get pride. We might be proud. We'll be like, oh wow, I'm amazing. I did this. All of those things are within us. They're natural. They're a natural part of our life. And it's all of these things, very subtle things, that Krishna still helps to get rid of it. So our inner world may have some, nasty desires, not useful doubts for us at all. But Krishna, sitting within our heart, will help to clean all of this with that lamp of knowledge. And we might be confused, or we might be like, oh, well, this all sounds good, but it's all about love and so many sentiments. Where is the weight? Where is the philosophy? So to quote, or perhaps paraphrase His Holiness Keshav Maharaj, he says that if it's just philosophy, then we become mental speculators. So essentially, we are just giving our own interpretations on things we read. So it might not hold any weight. And it might take us on a different track. So if you think about train tracks, they go parallel to each other. If they were even off by 0.01 degree, at some point they will start going so far apart from each other that the train can no longer go on that path. And that's what can happen if we purely just use our mental speculation. But on the other hand, if we are fully just relying on our emotions, reading something and be like, oh, this is what my heart tells me to do and this is what I'm going to do, we might end up with the same results of, going back to the train tracks and completely, end up in a place that's completely not the right place, or, it's not going to help us in our spiritual life. So we have to mix the two. The philosophy, we need that weight, we need those teachings, plus the sentiments, to really apply it in our lives, and that becomes bhakti yoga. Because this is the process of loving God. This is the process of knowing God, engaging in different activities that will please Him. So there are emotions, there are sentiments, but they're backed up by philosophy, and that's the process of bhakti yoga. And there is just a story regarding how two can go really well together. So this is in the scripture called Chaitanya Charitamrita, I think, where there was an illiterate brahmana, so he couldn't read or write, but he was instructed by his spiritual teacher that every day you must read the Bhagavad Gita. Now, a lot of us might be like, oh, well, I can't read, so I'm not going to do it. Like, there's no point. I may sit here and listen, but I'm not going to read because I can't read. But that brahmana had so much faith and conviction in his teacher that he would try and read. And then Lord Chaitanya, who is none other than Krishna, would come there, and he would see this brahmana, sometimes crying and like really deep, deep emotions that come. And he asked him that there are all these people laughing at you because you're trying to read, but I see you and you look very blissed out. So the Brahmana says, well, I'm just really trying to follow the instructions of my spiritual teacher. And then Mahaprabhu has a conversation, Lord Chaitanya has a conversation with him, and he finds out that this person knows the full philosophy, even though he's illiterate, so on the material level he can't read, but he knows everything. And that's only because of his sincere effort to please his spiritual teacher. So here Krishna, again, within our heart, is providing us with the intelligence to understand the highest truths that can really help us to progress in our spiritual lives. So the more we study, the more we try and understand these concepts in life, more our misconceptions or misinterpretations will reduce. That lamp of knowledge will shine brighter and brighter the more we read, the more we speak to people who have this knowledge already. All these unwanted things in our hearts will be removed. And this is where, I guess a little promotion, it's not even for me, but for me, like I know a lot of us might find hard to read books like Bhagavad Gita because they're packed with philosophy, they're packed with so much knowledge. But what I found great is this book called Gita 3. It's written by Keshav Maharaj. I think they do have it in the shops. It has split the whole Gita into, well, firstly, 3 parts of how we can think differently. So what Krishna is trying to tell us, we can really go to the depths of it. The second part teaches us how to do things differently, so how we can perfect our speech, how we can be determined, how there are different topics in there. And the last part is all the excuses that we can give, like, oh, I don't have time, I have a family, I'm already happy in my material life. And Keshav Maharaj kind of uses that chapter to help us understand that those excuses are not so much valid, not as valid as we might think. So he really helps us to understand the Bhagavad Gita in a very practical way that we can apply those things, those teachings in our lives. So that is one of the ways to understand books like the Bhagavad Gita. And going back to the point of devotional service, which is what texts 10 and 11 are about, again, why is it so important? So we read in the purport to text 11 that it's important because it pleases Krishna. Krishna is basically telling us, this is what I like. If you do this, you will be able to get out of this world. So if we just do any activity we do, we try and do it with the intention of pleasing him, that's enough. So even if, we can't do many things like, say, chant lots of rounds or, do lots of reading or anything like that, if we just sincerely try and understand what Krishna is trying to tell us, do devotional service, then Krishna will help us and make path clear for us. Now, here I see young parents, people who are working in the outside world. So we might naturally ask, well, I don't have the time. How am I supposed to add more things into my life, which is already so busy? And the simplest way to do this is we don't want to add, we don't want to subtract anything, we want to integrate things. So all of us here eat, I assume, right? So how can we spiritualize that eating? When we cook, we can offer it to Krishna. We can have like a little separate plate for him and offer food to Krishna and be like, thank you so much for giving me food today. Here's my little offering back to you. And once he's eaten, we can eat that. We serve Mahaprasad every day, so why can't we do that at home as well? So it's not that you're taking your time out, trying to do so many different things, add new things in your life. We eat every day, so we spiritualize that. Similarly with parenting, with driving, with teaching, everything can be spiritualized. We just have to be a little bit creative and find our way to spiritualize all that we already do, to really progress and to be connected to devotional service. And I think I just want to end on one last thing. Is there is a formula that is given by, I think, again, Keshav Maharaj in his little book called Gita Life, and that is A, B, C, D, E. So how to add devotional service. A means association. So we seek out association with people who know these topics, who are well versed in this, or we come to classes like morning classes and really try and understand what devotional service is. B stands for books. So again, we look at these books, we read them, we really try to understand, but most importantly, we try and apply these teachings. Now, it would be very hypocritical of me to say that I apply all the teachings, but there's an endeavor. There's an endeavor to really go deep into the knowledge given by these books. C stands for chanting. You can't escape chanting in this temple. There's wonderful kirtans going on. If you come early in the morning, so from about 5:15, we're doing japa. So that's also a process of devotional service. And then D is probably many people's favorite, food, diet. So we spoke about how to spiritualize it. And E stands for engagement. So we try and use the skills we have and engage that in devotional service, in giving back something to Krishna, to the community. So that's sort of how we can really be engaged in devotional service without trying to change so many things in our lives, with just keeping it as it is. So just to summarize, the takeaways, I think, for me, for this verse are, we really try and be sincere in our when we're trying to do devotional service, because that will really clean our hearts. And the second one being, we want to integrate the life of Bhakti Yoga within our own lives, wherever we might be. And the formula of A, B, C, D, E can perhaps really help us with that. So that's all I had to say on this verse today, Hare Krishna. And if anyone has questions, corrections, comments, please, we can take a few. Yes? Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much for that point. Yes, the spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada have really switched on that light for all of us. So thank you so much. Yes? You have a question? Yeah. Yeah. Was the spiritual master teaching you the ABCDE or? Yeah. Yeah, thank you. So you really like the ABCD, so it helps you to decide what you should and should not do. Thank you. Anyone else? No? Okay. Thank you so much for sitting here while there was prasadam being served. This is a hard slot because most people want to go eat. So thank you for nourishing all your souls sitting here, encouraging us. Hare Krishna.
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanikam Tam Sadivam Sadaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Sri Vidhanamitam Shiva Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna